What is up, NFC West football fans, and welcome into another edition of the NFC West Roundtable powered by BetUS. Week 15 is in the books. Bittersweet. Only 3 weeks left of the regular season. And tonight, we turn the page to Week 16, where we preview all 4 games within the NFC West. So without further ado, let's bring in the fellas and dive right into it. Jesse, Mike, Brandon, and Jake. Fellas, good to see you. No divisional games this week, and a rarity. I think we have one the remaining 2 weeks after that. We have a bunch of them. So this is the last week where you guys aren't going to be facing off against one another, so we'll have to enjoy it. And in the upcoming day, we have 2 games in the 1 p.m. window, 2 games in the 4:25 p.m. window, and we'll head on over to BetUS, where we'll take a look at our first game that we'll be previewing between the LA Rams, who are currently at the top of the division, taking on the New York Jets, who just got a rare win this past week against Mac Jones and the Jacksonville Jaguars. And I know that win might not be meaning a whole lot in terms of the Jets season or the fact that it was over the Jags. So it might not be all that impressive. But what you should take away from that was that Aaron Rodgers and Davante Adams balled out in that game. It looked like they were back at Lambeau Field, tossing the ball back and forth. I think Davante Adams had just south of 200 yards. Aaron Rodgers looked like he was back to form. Will he be able to do that again against the Rams this upcoming week? That's what I'm going to ask you fellas. Right now, the Rams are a 3-point road favorite heading into East Rutherford on Sunday at 1 p.m. All of these games right now are must win for everybody in this division, but the Rams are looking to win out and control their own destiny. They're looking to walk into the playoffs on their own accord. That can start this upcoming week with a win over the New York Jets. Mike, I'll start with you. Rams, 3-point favorites on the road. Do they get it done against the Jets?
I was just looking up the weather real quick, and it looks to be pretty nice, but it's going to be cold. It's over there in the East Coast. I don't know. I don't know if I buy too much into what Aaron Rodgers is doing. And I'm not going to lie to you, that whole Davante Adams, Aaron Rodgers pissed me off because it got me screwed in my fantasy league. But honestly, I don't know. I feel like the Rams are just better. They're just a better overall team. Like, they're consistent. So I got to lean to the Rams here. I'm not going to go too much into it. I'm just going to say the Rams win this game. It's going to be 23-17. Rams win.
Jesse, talk to me. Who gets it done?
Yeah, I think the Rams win this game. Oddly enough, Aaron Rodgers' favorite quarterback is Matthew Stafford. He rants and raves about that guy. So he'll be able to watch him up close and personal. And simply the Rams are just a better team with more to play with. So I will go 27-17 Rams.
Brandon, how do you see it going down on Sunday against the Jets for the Rams?
Yeah, I think that the Jets have kept themselves close in games, even in recent weeks where they've lost. They won last week, but you lost Quinnen Williams, which is a big loss to that defensive line for them. And the Rams, I think, is impressive at what they do on offense. Beyond Stafford throwing the ball is running the ball and staying committed to running the ball, even if it's not working well. And they're going to stay committed, hammering that inside. 24-17 Rams. I think they take this one.
Jake, did the Rams keep it rolling and control their own destiny still this time next week?
Yes, I do think they will. I just want to give credit. I mean, Aaron Rodgers is definitely playing at a much higher level than he was earlier in the season. It's no surprise the Jets have had 10 one-possession games this year. This could be a much different game had some of those games down to the wire went a different way. But they are a 4-10 football team that showed us last week that they still care about playing for pride. And I was a little surprised by that with Aaron Rodgers, of course. I thought he would have kind of checked out, and I would have understood it to a degree. A lot of veterans tend to check out at this point in the season, especially established, when you don't have anything in the world to play for. But the Jets did not. And I understand the Jaguars are a bad football team, but the Jets kept it close against a lot of good teams over the last few weeks. So when I look at this team, I think they're going to be very similar to what the Giants were last year. Ironically, the Rams went to MetLife Stadium. They had to beat the Giants. Very close game, 26-25, I believe. And then they had to, of course, hope that Seattle lost to the Steelers, which they did, which, of course, they clinched the division when that happened. So I think it's going to be really close. And I don't understand why Rams fans think this is going to be a blowout. I don't care that they have a mini bye week. Anytime you go across the country, and I'll say the same thing to you, Mike. I mean, it's going to be a little bit of a problem for Arizona to go over to Carolina this late in the year, where you're expecting cold weather, potentially snow. Stafford's done a decent job, and I think really the big issue last year with the Giants was that he doesn't do well against Wink Martindale. The Jets, however, don't have Wink Martindale, which is a good thing. So I think the Rams are going to win this game 31-24.
Rams looking to keep it rolling, stay atop of the division. The Cardinals looking to keep their hopes alive as well, and they should have a decent chance in doing so this upcoming week against the Carolina Panthers team, who we thought was bouncing back, but they came back down to earth. The first time they were favored in a game in nearly 2 full years this past week against the Cowboys, and Cooper Rush cut them up. Did not get it done. The Cardinals, on the other hand, they got it done against a team of equal caliber, you could argue, to the Carolina Panthers. They were able to win pretty handily against the New England Patriots. Right now on BetUS, the Cardinals are a 4.5-point road favorite against the Carolina Panthers. That seems a little bit light. Maybe they know something we don't. Jesse, do they know something we don't, or is Arizona getting this win handily?
No, I think this is going to be a close game. I do. I expect that Arizona wins it, but the Panthers aren't laying down for people. They're definitely competing and trying their best. And, maybe Bryce Young has a little something. Oddly enough, I wasn't sold on Bryce Young watching his film, but when I saw a picture he took with Kyler Murray and how much smaller he was than Kyler, I was like, this can't be good, because Kyler's not the biggest guy, as we know. But I think that Bryce Young can watch Kyler Murray and learn a little bit from him. I think this could be an opportunity for him to do that. But the Cardinals have the playoffs potentially on the line for them. They have to win this game, and I think they'll do so. The Cardinals are, to me, have been the hardest team in all of the NFL to predict week to week. They really are, and I do expect them to win this. But at the same time, gosh, I don't know. I feel like I've been wrong every week on them. So I'll go 27-24 Cardinals.
Brandon, Carolina or Arizona?
I'm going to go with Arizona. I think they reestablished their identity again last week by limiting some of their self-inflicted wounds that had been kind of propping up, by getting back to the running game and centering back around Connor, by restricting some of the passing attempts by Kyler throughout the game. That's the formula. And I think they go back to it this week on the road. I think they actually win this one comfortably. I'm going 26-14.
Jake, thoughts?
Yeah, it's not going to be an easy game for Arizona. I think looking at that Carolina game, got away from them. They had a great drive early on after getting that 3 and out. They go 72 yards, and then they fumbled in the red zone. And I think that was really a backbreaker for them. Then they fumble later on, then an interception. And I think, kind of the difference between this game and the Eagles game, and why the Panthers probably should have won the Eagles game, is, you look at Bryce Young, and when things go well, he plays well as of late. But he's not somebody that's able to get himself back on track. So, Mike, it's going to be very simple. If Arizona's pass rush can get to him, then this is going to be a long day for him, because Arizona is a better team. They're more talented. I don't care how hard the Carolina Panthers are playing or trying to win. It's not going to go over well. I do think this is going to be a close game. I think both quarterbacks are going to make some big-time throws, but in the end, I'm going with the better team. I know they're on the road, but they need to have this. Arizona wins this game 20-13, and what sounds ugly, but I think they're going to leave a lot of points on the field, and there should be a decent amount of offensive and moving the ball, in this one.
Mike, Cardinals keeping themselves alive this upcoming Sunday?
I mean, you would hope so. I mean, they got their season here right now. We've all talked about if you want to have the division or a playoff push, you got to go 3-0. So this is the next one here for the Cardinals, and you're looking at this 3-win team, and you think to yourself, oh, you're going to beat this. That's the thing. Like everybody on this panel says, I mean, you cannot overlook a team, because then you'll get slapped. And it'll be a trap game, and then it's going to be like that's just the NFL. So the Cardinals need to take care of business. They got to make sure that James Conner is the focal point in this offense, and that's just what they got to do the rest of the way. Now, I also do want them to have a plan B, because you do run into teams like Seattle, and sometimes you just don't have a move after that. But right now in this game versus the Carolina Panthers, that should be your clear path to go. James Conner, mix it up with some Trey Benson, and heck, let's have Kyler Murray run the ball a couple times here and there, and let him be elusive. But we need him to make some big time throws here to Marvin, Michael Wilson. Obviously, Trey McBride's going to get his own as well. So it depends on what defense shows up as well. Like, just like Jake said, if we pressure him, if Darius Robinson gets another sack under his belt, if Baron Browning gets involved, if Zayvon Collins gets involved, then I think we can make him very uncomfortable back there. But if he's sitting back there making a ham sandwich, then we're going to be in a situation where our defense is going to be allowing points. And it's not really a good spot where the Cardinals want to be. I do think that we could outscore them. I just do not want it to have been like that close. But I think it's going to be, a 7-point game. I would say 27-20 Cardinals win.
Let's go to the 4 p.m. window. Huge game for both teams here. We got the Seattle Seahawks taking on the Minnesota Vikings at home. The Seahawks just lost to the Vikings' arch NFC North rival in the Green Bay Packers this past week. Meanwhile, the Vikings got it done handily against another divisional rival. The Bears beat them with ease on Monday night. So as I mentioned, the Vikings 3-point favorites on the road in Seattle. Seahawks got to have it if they want to keep their hopes alive. The Vikings still trying to keep their hopes alive for the 1 seed, believe it or not, in the NFC, which is crazy. I feel like we're not talking about Minnesota that way, but they're right there. Jesse, I'll start with you here. Vikings or Seahawks this upcoming Sunday?
Man, going into this 2-game set between the Seahawks when they were playing the Packers and now the Vikings, I thought, man, there's an opportunity they can win both these games. I felt like both these teams are very beatable. But after watching it, the way that it went against Green Bay, I no longer have that confidence in them. It's crazy how quickly it happened. It was like first 2 drives, boom, 14-0 game was basically over at that point. And I feel like Minnesota can jump on them as well and kind of drag them into deep waters. And I just don't know that that's a game that the Seahawks can play right now. I do like what Brandon said. This is a bad matchup, especially for Geno with a knee injury. Not the best offensive line, and you talk about a team that will just blitz the hell out of you. Yeah. That is the Minnesota Vikings. So things can get really ugly in this game. I just hope that Geno can protect himself, like truly protect himself and stay healthy, because you don't want anything disastrous to happen to him. But ultimately, I think that the Vikings win this one probably pretty easy. I will go 30-17 Minnesota.
Jake, how do you see this one going down at 4 o'clock?
Yeah, well, Seattle takes away your run game, but, I think the thing is, right now, the way Aaron Jones has been running the football, they've been able to run the ball even against good run defenses. So that's something that concerns me for Seattle. In addition to that, they've also operated with Aaron Jones not being able to run the football this year and have no issue pivoting to the passing game. You have, the rapport that is built between Sam Darnold and Justin Jefferson, but then Jordan Addison emerged for 3 touchdowns a week ago. And, now you have Hawkinson who's getting more into this offense. I just think that that's really my biggest concern, outside of obviously the elephant in the room, Geno Smith. Is he going to be healthy? How healthy is he going to be? It's a tough call to make this early, in the week, when we predict this, but I'm going to take the Vikings here, and I think Seattle is going to give it their all. I think this is going to be a closer game than people realize. This could be their season, and obviously there are different ways that they could still find a way into the playoffs the next 2 games after this one, but this is huge, and I think the embarrassment at home in prime time will give them enough of a jolt where I think they make this a 30-27 ball game. And they lose, of course, but I think they're going to be in it, and I think it's going to be closer than people realize.
Mike, how about you?
I agree with both Jake and Jesse. I feel like they're going to try very, very hard to win this game, but I see it more of the Jesse route, honestly. I see it more of a 31-14 because you just don't know what Geno Smith is. And even if he does come 95% of the chance, which obviously it's better than Sam Howell, but that defense is really good. Brian Flores is going to blitz a limit, especially if he sees there's a weakness there. And they're probably going to look at the tape and what happened in that Packers game. He was harassed, man. He was harassed, and what they actually did. So I'm going to lean on over to obviously the NFC North. That whole division in a nutshell is just praying on this NFC West right now. So I'm going to lean to that. I'm going to say the Vikings win. I think 31-13. Seattle's going to try, but it's not going to be enough.
Brandon, you told me that the confidence level right now isn't through the roof. Is it high enough to where you think that they can get a W against a Vikings team that's only lost twice on the year?
No. As my cohort spoke about, Brian Flores is going to be licking his chops like a fat man that's been 3 days without food, who's got a 46-ounce steak sitting on his plate, looking him right in the eye. And he is going to just go crazy town on us. And that we haven't even in the best of times been able to pass block. So you bring that into the play. If you had a healthy quarterback that could move around, that'd be a problem. this is sort of a worst case scenario for given the situation. And I don't know how we get around that offensively. Our coordinator's not found adjustments throughout the course of this season. The offense is disjointed, in many ways regressing. Not the right time of year for that to be going on. Defensively speaking, balanced offenses that can hit you both ways, not necessarily be lethal on either side in the run game or the pass game, but legitimately to attack you with both methodologies of approach. These have been the kind of offenses that have had success against the Seahawks defense this year. And so both of these two things just do not add up well for me. I don't think it's going to be necessarily a comfortable game. I don't think it's going to be a high scoring game, but I think when it comes down to it, 21-13 is where we end up finding, and the Vikings end up getting the dub.
Let's go to 425, the long-awaited matchup between Jesse and TD. I feel like we've been talking about this one forever. It's finally here. The Niners on the road against the Miami Dolphins. The Niners are coming off of a loss to Jake's LA Rams. Meanwhile, the Miami Dolphins, who thought, it looked like they had a little bit of a spark after Tua had come back. Tua really had a poor performance this past week against the Houston Texans at a loss. So both of these teams looking to bounce back. And right now on BetUS, this game is a pick'em. Anybody's game, a coin toss type game out in Miami. So even keeled is the overall takeaway based on how this game is being perceived. I will start with you, Mike. How do you perceive this game? Who takes it, Niners or Dolphins?
I hear pick'em and I hear mid versus mid. This is going to be a very, very interesting game. I don't know. Like, I feel like somewhere deep down dormant, the 49ers are, they got so much cultural issues that it just cannot move past Deebo Samuel trying to get the ball, and just everything's just yucky over there right now. I'm going to make TD happy here. I think the Miami Dolphins are going to, continue to fork them. And I'm going to say the Dolphins win this game, 27-17. Dolphins win.
Brandon, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, a close one comes down. Hard to pick one or see where there's a clear advantage on this one. Finesse of the Dolphins on that defense, the Niners, that can be kind of blood and guts at times in there. Is Greenlaw playing in this game, Jesse?
Yeah, I believe so. We'll see. I think he was just really sore, playing a lot. They had the Thursday game. I think he's going to play. Yeah.
I'm going to give the Niners just a nod here. I don't like the Dolphins and how they've looked this year. I just don't feel it from the energy of that team, and I hate Tua. He's just those throws in that game last week where you're like, why has this guy gotten paid? Somebody paid this guy. You paid this guy a lot of money to play it. Like, really? But if you got Greenlaw was a shot in the arm for that Niner defense, you could feel his presence back there, made such a big difference, and it was a big boon to that D. And if he can be back there playing, I think you give him the nod. So I'll go, 24-21 Niners.
Jake, Niners or Fins?
Oh, after that loss, Niners are done. I don't think they come out at all with any sort of inspiring football. They're 2-4 on the road as it is this year. The Dolphins have a lot to play for. If they win 3 straight, which is possible, they have an easier schedule. And if the Broncos, who, by the way, they play the tough teams, they play the Bengals, the Chiefs, and there's another team in there. I think the Chargers.
Yeah.
That's not easy. And so if I'm the Dolphins right now, I get ready to play at home with the possibility of getting to the playoffs and sneaking in as that 7th seed. So I have on one side the Dolphins who are getting up to play and they have something to be inspired for. And on the other side, 49ers left it all on the field. That defense has to be so upset with that offense the way they played on Thursday night. I know they have a mini bye, but I think this is really going to be the nail in the coffin when you see the student beat the master. I think, Mike McDaniel winning this game, and oh man, the fan base is going to be in a frenzy. But I do think that happens. I'm going to go with the Dolphins 23-13 in this one. They almost beat, not almost, but they were in that game against the Texans. I think they beat the 49ers, and I've said it before and I'll say it again, guys. I think they can get to the playoffs. I'm not saying they will, because obviously they lost a game they can't lose, but Denver against the 3 teams they're going to play, that is not going to be easy. And if that's the case, I think the Dolphins win out.
Damn. Jesse, what do you think about it? What's going to happen on Sunday?
We suck. The Dolphins suck way more. I'm sorry. Tua is off. Again, anytime I go close games, quarterback coach, give me Brock Purdy over Tua, give me Kyle Shanahan over Mike McDaniel. I think it's that simple. And the 49ers defense is playing some good football. And oddly enough, like the 49ers might be the healthier of the two teams, which is crazy to say, but I think they might be. And I think after that loss and the Devondre Campbell situation, I actually disagree. I think they're going to come out with some pride, everything on the line. They know that after this season, cast of these characters may no longer be there. Guys that they ride for, guys that they really enjoy. And so I think that they have pride to play for. And Brock Purdy has trying to get paid to play for, as do other guys. They have nearly 30 free agents on this team upcoming. These guys are all trying to put final film out for people to see. And I think that the 49ers are just simply better than the Dolphins. So give me the Niners 27-20.
Squish the fish, Jesse. You'll have a chance to do it on Sunday afternoon, and we'll talk about whether or not Jesse's Niners get it done, and we'll talk about all the games that we just previewed next week on the Week 16 recap episode. Make sure to tune into that. In order to be notified about it, make sure to hit the subscribe button on the way out the door. Like button, too, if you'd be so kind. And all of the lines we talked about tonight and all of the lines in general for Week 16 are up right now on BetUS. Use the promo code YouTube150, and that'll get you a 150% sign-up bonus up to $2,000 on your first deposit and 125% on your next two after that. For Jesse, Mike, Jake, and Brandon, I'm your host, Z-Bot. Thanks so much for tuning in to the NFC West Roundtable, and we'll see you on the next one.